Hello, my name is Yulia. I am Eastern European from Ukraine and I've been living in Spain for 2.5 years. But right now we're talking here about Baku because I'm currently here for my month of remote work. What I see on the internet that there is so little information about Baku in English. Therefore, I'm gonna fix it. Stay till the end of this video to learn all the 10 things you must know before visiting Baku. As a traveler, as a digital nomad, or even before moving here. First thing, and the most important one, is the documents. Since I am Ukrainian, I don't need any visa for Baku. I can just enter with my Ukrainian passport. But if you are an EU or US citizen, you will need to apply for a visa. It only takes you 3 days to do it online, but you need to remember about that and do that. And normally it's a 30-day visa. Meanwhile, I can stay here for 3 months. But the most important thing for everybody, if you're planning to stay here for more than 2 weeks, you will need to be registered. This is not something they tell you when you cross the border. Nobody is gonna mention that. But if you're not registered and you've been here for more than 2 weeks, you will pay a fine once leaving the country. To avoid this fine, you will need to be registered, and this is normally done by the owner of the apartment where you live in or by the hotel's reception. They only ask me for 2 pictures, the stamp and my passport. That's it. Number 2 is the language. What languages do they speak here? The opinions vary, and some people say that 90% of Azerbaijani people do not speak English. Well, I'm not that sure about it. I think more people speak English. And since in this month that I've been here, I've been organizing cultural and language exchanges, I can see the interest of young people to learn to study languages, including English. By the way, I have an international community here. Even if I'm not in Baku anymore, you can still join our community and you can join the exchanges to get to know locals, to practice languages, not only English, because we also have foreigners and expats, and we had groups practicing German, Italian, Spanish, French, and it's so exciting. And many people here actually speak at least 3 languages, which is Azerbaijani, English, and Russian, and then many people also speak Turkish, and then they're learning more languages. Because I also speak 4 languages and I'm learning my 5th one, and it's so nice to meet like-minded people. Unfortunately, the overall situation is that mostly young people can speak English, so if you are in trouble, try to ask young people for help. The older generation normally speaks Russian. Some people speak only Azerbaijani. Point 3. Reckless driving, the road situation, and pedestrians. First of all, you need to know that everybody here drives. And there is even a joke that they're using cars even to buy bread. I've seen these apartment buildings where you go out and there is no space, there is no sidewalk just to walk. Your only opportunity is to go with a car. And unfortunately, this is not a pedestrian-friendly city. It's nice to walk everywhere, but you need to be prepared for some things, like the situation where you want to cross the road and there is a pedestrian crossing, but nobody is letting you pass, nobody is letting you cross the road, so you need to fight for your right to cross the road. Also, in some places, in the center especially, or somewhere else, whenever you want to cross the road, but you will not find any pedestrian crossing. Not underground, not the normal one, like nothing. And even if there is this underground pedestrian crossing, it's not easy to find because there are no signs, so you need to know it's there. Please be really careful once crossing the road here. Number 4 is the negotiation. The negotiation is part of the culture, you need to be prepared. It's very popular in Turkey, it's very popular in Azerbaijan, in Georgia. So if you are a foreigner here, it's very easy for people to overcharge you, to give you a higher price. That's why you always need to negotiate the price. And there is one rule, many expats who are living here commented this to me. They never buy if there is no price tag. And I think that's a good strategy. Also, you need to know how much everything costs Once you know the prices, you will never be overcharged because you know how much things cost. You know that you cannot buy one kutab for 8 manat because it costs less than 1, and you know that the car drive would be 3 manats if it's 10 minutes more or less. Also, I was told that at some touristic places, like touristic restaurants somewhere in the center, they might have two menus, one menu for the locals and the other one, overpriced menu, for the tourists. Number 5. Baku is the city of winds. Of course, there are reasons to get this title. There are two types of winds here. One of them is chilly and humid, and this one is really cold. It makes everything seem colder in winter. The other one, on the opposite, is the hot wind, the dry wind, and it's typical for the summer. When it's too windy, they even pull down the flag, the gigantic flag. There was an opening in November because it might get damaged during the wind. By the way, the new flag was confirmed the largest flag in the world. It's 36 meters wide and 72 meters long, and it weighs over 500 kilos. Can you imagine that? By the way, right now there is no flag since it was windy at night. It should be right there. Next important thing to know is the local character. Whatever happens, just stay calm because local people are not that calm and they might get really emotional for some unimportant things. I mean unimportant things for me. I'm used to Spanish character because in the last 2.5 years I've been living in Spain, and I'm so used that people are so happy, that people don't get mad, they are like acting in a more passive, relaxed way, but here is not the case, and this country is famous for its fiery personality. Also, the symbol of the country is the fire. This is definitely related. Next point is the cash. The cash is essential. Don't just rely on your credit card and exchange some cash. Normally you can pay by a foreign card everywhere, but at some places, especially some cheap places like street food or local tiny stores, they only charge you in cash. And if you want this kutab for less than 1 manat, be ready to have cash. Also, at some places they say that yes, we have card payments, but in the end it's only card-to-card payments, so you need to have an Azerbaijani card. That's why it's better to have cash, just in case. Next point is the taxi. First, I'm so surprised that the taxi here is so cheap. A 10-minute drive might cost you only 3 manat. At least this is how we normally get to the center, which is just nothing comparing to Spanish or to European taxi prices. But you need to know the cheapest taxi app to use here, and it is Yango Taxi. So if you want something cheap, download this app and enjoy. If it's possible to say that about the local driving. Also, Bolt Taxi is quite popular as well. Next one is the maps. I've been using Google Maps everywhere in the world, but here they're just failing. First, the restaurants, the coffee shops where I'm going using these Google Maps, in the end do not exist. Maybe they're already closed, maybe they changed the location, but they're not correct at all. Also, the traffic. If there is a traffic jam, probably Google Maps are not gonna show you this traffic jam, and you're gonna get stuck in traffic for hours. But I asked some locals what kind of maps are they using, and everybody told me that they're using Waze. So download Waze and enjoy. Also, it shows road conditions and speed camera location, so every driver here uses these maps. My last point is the beaches. Baku is located at the seaside, the Caspian Sea is here, but in the city there are no traditional beaches and you cannot just go sunbathe or take a swim in the city because all of them are located outside of the city. Here you can enjoy walking along the seaside, watching the sea, but if you want to go for a swim, you need to go outside of Baku because this peninsula, Absheron Peninsula, it has many beaches, but they're all outside. For example, the Sea Breeze side, where they're constructing lots of new buildings, but you need to go outside, and it's better if you have a car to drive somewhere. So these are my 10 important things you should know before traveling here to Baku. If you need part 2, please let me know in the comments. Don't forget to follow me, and see you in the next videos.